Namaste everyone and welcome to K7 Astrology. And today we are continuing with our series on dream interpretation and using Vedic Astrology. And before I continue with our today's session, I would again like to make an announcement telling you that the information that I'm sharing with you is the basic, interpretation of a dream. It's not completely, truly cannot be truly applied on you or on anyone. It is a basic interpretation. The exact interpretation would on you can be drawn by making an astrology chart of the dream and of the person who was dreaming, and then trying to make a logical, explanation out of that. So today, what I have for you is I have 7 different dreams for you. So I would be interpreting their basic meaning. And to start off with, I'm going to start off with a dream that is that if you see Buddha in your dream, so Gautam Buddha. So if you see Buddha in your dream, now I'm only going to talk about if you see Buddha. I'm not going to talk about in which position do you see him, because that will change the entire scenario. So like if you see Buddha in air or if you see Buddha on land would mean different. But what I'm talking about right now is that if you see Buddha, basically what does it indicate? So when you see or when anyone sees Buddha, so seeing Buddha in your dream is very good omen. It's a very good omen because it is a omen indicating increase, expansion, or some kind of awareness relating to your spirituality. And also not just spirituality, it also indicates for like someone like who might not be so much interested in spirituality or might not be practicing it yet. They will find that they will get an additional advantage over their learnings, or will be attracted to learn something new, or will be facilitated to learn something new. Okay, so seeing Buddha indicates spiritual awakening, and at the same time, it also indicates knowledge, increase in your knowledge base, increase in your wisdom as well. So if you see Buddha, and if luckily, like for you, if Buddha is talking with you, then again it can indicate a really good, it can be a really good omen for your self-development, and towards your self-development coming in very near future, depending on at what time you saw the dream. So if you see Buddha, this is basically what it will mean. It's a positive dream and it is indicating learning of something new. Okay, now after moving on from Buddha, now I'm going to straight away jump into something which is not very pleasing, which is if you ever see a dream about cannibalism, or you see yourself being a cannibal, what would that mean? So it's like a complete extreme. Like I was talking about Buddha increasing your knowledge and taking you higher on your spiritual path. Now we'll talk about cannibalism. So when you see a dream which involves cannibalism and you are a part of that dream, then this is not considered to be a very good omen. This is considered to be an indication by the universe that whatever you are planning to do, you should try to avoid it. You should try to completely cut it off, because this dreaming of cannibalism basically indicates that you have a very strong desire which is developing in you, or which is being developed in you by the surroundings or people around you, that they are forcing you to do something which you really don't want to do, or which you should not do. So if you see cannibalism is like eating human flesh or eating another human. If you see something like this, you should avoid doing whatever you are doing in that, in your real life. So if you're planning to take up, let's suppose you meet someone and they say like, hey, tomorrow we're going to go and do this particular adventure at this particular location, or we're going to go camping in the forest, and we're going to hunt over there, and then we will live there, and it's beautiful setup that the person have created for you. But seeing this dream is an indication that if you go there, there's a strong possibility that you might just get caught by the cops and you might be spending your life behind the bars. So it is something that you should try to avoid. If you see a dream of cannibalism, if you see yourself in it, then definitely you should avoid it. If you see somebody else, then you can try to establish the relationship that you have with them and see what's happening in their life if you are in touch with them. If you are not, it can also indicate that someone known could be coming into your entering your life and making you do something that you would regret doing. So if you see a dream of cannibalism, you can try to avoid it. Continuing with not so favorable dreams, not so good omens. Imagine a dream in which you see yourself to be blind. What would you do in that dream, or what does that dream mean? So if you see yourself blind, or if you see yourself that you're not able to see clearly, or you're crying or happy, that's addition to the dream. But first thing is, like, if you see yourself being blinded, what it indicates is that you are going to be in a situation where you would be either deserted by your friends, or would be taken advantages by your friends, or disloyalty, basically, especially coming from people on whom you have a certain amount of trust. So getting blind is again not a very good omen. If you see a dream in which you are going blind, it indicates the things that I've told you. It basically indicates unfaithfulness from people towards you. It indicates that, some kind of struggle. It indicates that you would not have complete information, complete knowledge of what you're doing. And it would be probably like, you could later on say that, hey, I didn't want to do it, I was just made to do it. So to avoid that, the good thing to do would be that if you see such a dream, just try to analyze your friend circle, just try to analyze people around you, just try to analyze their actions, and maybe put more trust in yourself than putting it out on those people. Maybe that is one way of handling this kind of a dream. Now again, I will say that it is not necessary that it is exactly going to be like this. There can be some modification also. Sometimes it can have some blessing in disguise, but basically it's not considered a good dream. Okay, so if you dream of this thing, it also indicates that you become very vulnerable, and people around you will take advantage of you. Like, they will just try to consume you. So if you don't want you to get consumed by someone, then maybe it's a good thing to take control of whatever is happening in your life. Then if you see a dream in which you see yourself biting someone. So yesterday we talked about, like, if an animal bites you or if someone bites you, but in this dream, if you see yourself biting someone, but this biting is not same to cannibalism. Cannibalism is like you're eating. The bite is to eat something. This is just a bite. It could be a bite to your friend, it could be biting your parents, or it could be biting your siblings or anyone. If you are biting someone, it indicates fulfillment of your desire. A deep desire that you have. It can be a desire directly linked with the person whom you're biting. If you're not able to see who you're biting, then it is just a desire which is going to get fulfilled. Now, this also indicates, like, if there is someone in your life or someone in your surrounding who has been confronting you, this also indicates that you would be returning the favor now. You would be confronting them. You would be creating probably an unpleasant situation for them. So this dream can be considered like in some way positive, and can be considered as negative, because it can be considered negative as a lot of ego and anger and frustration can be seen as rising. Okay, and because anything which has to do with a very strong desire becomes an obsession, and obsessions are not a very healthy state of mind. So this fulfillment of desire, longing for something since a very long time, is coming true. So there is a possibility that you might take advantage of it, or you might misuse the power which comes to you. So that's why if you get a dream like this, you have to maintain that balance in your mind, that you don't have to go about damaging someone so bad that the other person, like, is not able to recover. because this dream also indicates like a sharp exchange of dialogues, maybe that you're going to speak to someone in a very sharp tone, which can be very hurtful. So it's not really a good idea to do such things. So this dream, whatever we're dreaming, it does not mean that this is the thing that is going to come or happen in your life. It also means that what we should do if a situation like this arises. It is actually a universe's indication to us, or a universe's help that it is trying to give us, that hey, a situation like this is going to come. What kind of choices do you want to make? Prepare yourself for that. So when you know that you're going to be in a position of advantage over somebody who has been misusing you, whether are you going to be a similar person like him or them, like whoever was misusing their powers on you or abusing you, how are you going to return it to them? Like, are you going to also become an abusive person and abuse them, or are you going to have an upper hand, or are you going to be a bigger man by forgiving them, or by giving them, telling them that this is how you felt, but not really hurting them? So that is something that you have to decide on your own. So that is when, if you see someone biting you, then comes if you see birds in your dream, or like a specific bird, especially if the bird is a dove or a pigeon. So I'm sure it's very easy to interpret, because what they usually indicate is freedom and peace. Yes, so a similar indication also gets indicated when you see a pigeon or a dove in your dream. It indicates that you're going to you're going to free yourself from some kind of bondage. It can be a mental, physical bondage which you had, and you are going to be in peace. Now, birth is a very big topic, because again, like a lot of things, you can find yourself in a lot of situations with birds. You can find yourself releasing birds. You can find yourself birds coming over to you, flying over to you. You can find yourself with birds in cage. You can find yourself feeding birds or not feeding birds, eating birds, a lot of things. So the birds have a very strong connection, because basically what birds indicate is a higher frequency at which your brain is functioning, or at which you are functioning, or it indicates basically an improvement and increase, a rise in your mental thought processes. So sometimes that rise can also be negative, like you are at one level of negativity and you're taking yourself from there even higher, and you're becoming even higher negative. Or you are at a level of positivity and you're taking yourself even higher on that positivity. So that will depend on the person. That we get to know from the chart, whether this person, the time that they are spending on earth at this moment, is it helping them take good decisions, or is it helping them, or is it making them take bad decisions? So so this is why there's a strong connection that we have with birds. So if you see birds in your dream, yes, it can mean a lot of things, but basically what it means is that there is sort of an evolution, you can say, or you can say a rise in your thought process. A rise is expected, and freedom, because with freedom we rise, and if there is peace and freedom, we rise beautifully. So if there is only freedom but there is no peace, then the rise is like a little shaky. So but birds, like, so that's why we need to see the exact dream, and it will help us understand that how well is this person going to rise. Okay, and if you see in your dreams that you're feeding birds, this is a good omen, because this indicates that you will expect a large sum of money or some kind of income coming in. So if you see yourself feeding birds, this is a good omen. It's actually a good gesture anyways, to feed birds. It improves a lot of planetary position in our chart. So yeah, so if you like to feed, if you already feed, maybe you can continue. If you don't, maybe you can start feeding birds. Then the other one I would like to bring up today is, like, if you see in your dream that you are calling out someone, If you see that, you can imagine the dream to be like, you are standing somewhere and you know someone, and the person is standing at a distance and you're calling out to them, and the person does not respond, or the person looks at you, or maybe talks to you or something. But basically what this indicates is that this person is going to maintain distance from you, or has been maintaining distance from you, or is in a position or is in a place where you need to make effective and better communication with them, because they have already started distancing themselves from you. So like, for example, if you see your sibling, your elder brother in your dream, and you're calling out to him, so what it can indicate is that you are actually, your brother is moving away from you. Maybe you love your brother, maybe you don't want your brother to go away. So the omen or the indication, the sign is that work on the relationship with your brother. Talk to him. Try to understand, why is he moving away from you? Because if you will not work upon it, then for sure your sibling, your brother will move away from you. Or like in your relationships, if you see that your partner, you see that you're calling out your partner, or your partner is calling out you, or something like that, but there is sort of a communication, but which is not very positively happening, even in your dream, then in reality for sure that people are moving away. So if you see a dream like this dream is a strong indication that bridge this distance between the person. If you don't see anyone, if you just see that you're calling out someone, you don't know who you're calling out, then basically it means that you are distancing yourself from the world, or you're distancing yourself from other people. So in that case, you need to come out of your shell, you need to communicate better, you need to accept people's opinion or statements or comment. Instead of judging them, you can just accept them and say like, okay, this is how you feel. I might not feel so good about this thought, but I accept it. I'm okay with it. But okay, this is your thought. So that is what calling out, if you hear somebody calling out in a dream, would mean. Then finally, I'm going to conclude it by one last dream. That is that if you see yourself on an island. Now, seeing yourself again on an island can be like well elaborated, like what kind of island it was, who was there with you, what was happening, how you were doing, and whatever. So whether you were on an island with Buddha, it would mean different. If you were on an island with other cannibals, it would mean different. If you were on an island with birds, that would again mean different. But basically, when we dream of an island, what it is basically indicating is a sort of self-isolation. That is the first thing that it indicates. That it indicates that you are going to isolate yourself. In some cases, it's good, that isolation. Like, for example, corona threat around us, isolation is good. But what kind of isolation is good? A physical isolation, a mental isolation, or a spiritual isolation? At what level are you isolating yourself? That is important. If somebody is isolating themselves in a spiritual way, that is not so good, because they are restricting their spirituality. If somebody is again isolating themselves in a very mental way, they are breaking all connections with the rest of the world, all the people around them. And it is a fact that we grow, the intelligence that we have, the wisdom that we have it because of other people, because we are sharing it. Nothing new comes in here. Nothing comes in here. It's the same repetition. And if we get reminded when we talk to people, the information we have discovered, it gets exchanged. So that exchange is really important. Like, a lot of people think that, okay, I need to isolate myself from everyone. Everybody is like a cheater to me. Everybody is like this. It's the frequency on which we are working. We just need to change that frequency, because it is not a wise decision to isolate yourself from everyone. When you do that, There is a saying, no man is an island. We can never be an island. And that's why we should not try to isolate. But when we see a dream like this, watching ourselves on an island, it does indicate isolation. It does indicate that there is going to be a cutoff. It does indicate that there is going to be a need to find a safer space. There's going to be a need to find peace. You will, this also indicates that you will feel or have a strong feeling, or it can happen in future that you will get neglected by people you really care about, or people you really expect love from. So if you're dreaming of an island, so the thing that you should start working on is that instead of isolating yourself, maybe go ahead and start to communicate with these people. It would be difficult because that's the omen, that's the sign. The sign says that it is time for you, that we're going to put you, the planets are saying that we're going to put you into isolation. So, it is going to happen. But how we can make it happen, that is still in our control. That although in isolation, still able to communicate. Like, for example, what we are doing now, other humans are doing. That we are in isolation, we are under lockdown, but what did we choose? We didn't choose to completely shut ourselves down. We are communicating using technology, like what I'm doing with you right now. So this is a choice that we made, and some people have chosen like, okay, it's a lockdown, it's an isolation, I'm gonna feel really sad because nobody is around, I'm not able to go out, I'm not able to meet people, I'm not able to do this, and they are just inviting all sort of negativity which this dream or this omen indicated, that you on an island are going to be so lonely, and we are accepting it and we are inviting that. Instead of that, what we should do, we know that, okay, I'm going to get stuck on this island. What do? Okay, I start making, start using my creativity and my imagination, and put myself in a position that although I might be neglected by people, but still I try to build some kind of connection. So I have some kind of relief from somewhere. So this is the final dream that I had for you, that watching yourself on an island. This is also a very, so many possibilities, so many ways that the entire dream will come. But for basic understanding, this is what seeing yourself on an island would mean. So quickly, I will share again that if you want to have a consultation, like a Vedic Astrology consultation, or if you want to have a dream analysis based, dream analysis will happen if you dream something, obviously, and if you are able to make note of the timing. If you don't have exact timing, that's okay. Then I will work out and I will try to figure out like what was the most probable time of your dream, and then based on that we can do an analysis of that. So if you want to know about it, you can visit my website kvastrology.wordpress.com, and also thank you for watching the video. If you like it, if you find it entertaining, or if you find it with some knowledge, I would recommend you to kindly like and subscribe to this channel, and also share it with